phone line. I'm looking at some Calypso action, and a new queen is crowned, Tamika crowned Calypso queen. Tamika Darius delivers her Calypso, No Love, on her way to winning the National Women's Action Committee's Calypso Queen final. It transpired and took place on Sunday at the Queen's Hall. Tamika, congratulations, one of the first titles in the Carnival 2026. Well, speaking about the energy chamber, as I mentioned, well, yes, let me just give some flavor here. I mean, the dress code alone obviously would grab your attention, truly impactful, but it's more than just the look, it's the delivery, the rendition, diction, the way you tell the story of the song. She looks regal, I must say. And we have there our Calypso queen, Tamika Darius. No sobriquet, she's going with her name. And we have to say, congratulations. Yes, that is outfitter. That is right. Well, the Energy Chamber, they're going to review the store policy. That story here on page 6. And as it pertains to a very important discussion as we continue with the debate in the upper house, still to hear from certain key figures, key personalities within government and opposition on the said issue of the zones of special operation. The Prime Minister calls for officers to wear body cams, and that story is on page 7, and I want to also lend my voice to that particular call. I'm never one to use my platform to, diminish the hard work of the TTPS. Their task is a tough one. At the end of the day, we have to always remember they come from the community, they come from the fabric of the country. It's not like back in the day where we would bring men from Barbados and other parts to be officers. All the officers now, they're from here, born and bred, Trinbagonians, and we know the challenges in terms of dealing with the public, the way we conduct ourselves. And I could only imagine the level of patience, but also training, and most importantly, professionalism. And in keeping with the last of that particular standard, the standards I just mentioned, professionalism, I think it's best practice. It's not only best practice, but obviously, the standard, the gold standard across the world. If you want to have a professional police service, the body cam will tell this story. And in light of some of the recent incidents and, the years of people having their doubts with certain stories, the body cam itself would give in real time the ball by ball as to how an interaction or worst case scenario, any altercation would have gone down. So I stand with the Prime Minister on that. Let's get those body cameras up and running. I believe it's a good bit in the system. And if indeed the zones of special operations scenario is to really go through, I think that body cam will be integral to that particular operation. But we'll get a chance to treat with that later on for sure. Let's head to the back page. When we consider what's happening for the T20 World Cup, Samson in, and then the saying here, Joseph off, out. So we have the squad, the likes of Johnson Charles, Rushton, Matthew Ford, Hetmeyer, Brandon King, Shamar Joseph, Akil Hussain, Jason Holder, Muti, Powell, Rutherford, Shepard inside there, Jaden Seals, and Sampson. The full lineup here, it's inside your Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, and again, we wish the men in maroon the very best. We would have gone all the way already in this tournament. So there is pedigree, there is a legacy. And we have, truth be told, in all formats of the game, kind of shine the best in the 2020. Well, the test, that needs a total overhaul. White ball, one day, hot and cold. But we have been okay via the 2020, the shorter format of the game. So I want to send the men off, the team off with just good energy. And here's hoping they could bring it home, or at least bring a little joy to the region. Yeah, let's head to the brief on this Tuesday morning. Today, Tuesday, of course, the 27th of January. January nearly done, We are almost to the end of January. And the year now start. Look at that. Huh? So day one of the registration process, many visit the website, only 600 sign up. So over 100,000, 137,000 visit the website, but only 600 sign up. And obviously, I know for many it's going to be a bit tough, that asking price, but I guess it's part of government's drive to at least put some empiricals, at least have some data, and just make sure everybody who's here in the country, they are indeed above board. I would love to hear from the immigrant community concerning this latest development, and I'm sure we'll try to get someone on who represents their particular interest and voice on the program. Let's get the Carnival page before we take that first break as we get in some of the flavor of Carnival 2026. And this is the Iron Park action that took place last Friday. To everyone who went out this weekend, I went to presentation Prestige. Oh, that was a fantastic time. I'll talk about that some more inside the second hour. But indeed, yeah, Iron Park, beautiful, beautiful concept. And you can see all smiles, everyone having a time. It's Carnival 2026, the greatest show on earth. Let's have ourselves a safe one. We take the pause and we come back and get into that very important conversation concerning the zones of special operations. The Minister in the Ministry of Housing and Senator Philip Alexander will join me to treat with this particular issue, and we'll also touch on some garbage collection concerns. Senator Alexander up next.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh-cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Trinidad and Tobago Carnival presents, for the very first time, at the Carnival Village, Queen's Park, Savannah, Port of Spain, Chutney Soca Monarch, the semi-final show. Friday, 30th January, showtime 7 p.m. 25 artists. RG the band, one stage, one night. Only 10 go to the final. Absolutely free to the public. Call 868-468-8728 or email southexevents@gmail.com. CSM 26.
Cold or flu? Take Panadol multi-symptoms. Relief in minutes. 7 cold and flu symptoms. Panadol. Release starts here.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Well, as promised, Senator Philip Alexander joins me this morning as we continue with this very important conversation of the zones of special operations. I'm happy he took the time to be here with us this morning to treat with this, because the debate is heating up. A couple of major personalities still need to put forward their contribution. Senator Alexander would have given his 2 cents on the issue last Friday. As a matter of fact, I believe you actually opened the debate there in the upper house. So let me welcome you again to the program. Happy New Year. And let's get into this, a very important conversation. Zoso.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to all your viewers and listeners around the world.
I think obviously we could all agree that something needs to be done to treat with crime criminality, the scourge we have all had to endure for many decades. I guess the question is, so is this indeed the solution, as it were, the working plan? Because I know lots of it would have been taken from the Jamaican model, but we all know Jamaica is a different space compared to Trinidad and Tobago, and more so even Tobago. So, Zoso, your gut feel, because I know you're a man that you're an independent thinker, even though I know the politics of the day will call for everyone to bat in their crease and stand with their team, but as an independent thinker, someone who, if you were out of the Senate, would you have still supported this also?
I love how you phrase that question. But you said something earlier, and it makes the point. Something has to be done.
I agree.
Being an activist outside of government is easy to have a scattershot approach. You could let your emotions get involved in the conversation because you don't have the responsibility of government. Government has the narrow confines of delivering results to the words that they say. It has to match. And this country, Trinidad and Tobago, has been violent for too long. Something has to be done. You said that. Something has to be done. And every single administration has said there must be a way to do a state of emergency, because every time you do a state of emergency, crime is down. So the state of emergency works. This state of emergency, I said in my contribution, because when people credit the state of emergency, I said, but the only thing this state of emergency does is gives law enforcement extra powers to be able to go after the criminal element. It's invisible to everybody else. We're in a state of emergency, all effects packed, people having a good time. And so taking from, and this is what the Attorney General said, taking from the state of emergency model, how do you do that without inconveniencing everybody else? How do you do that? And obviously, the takeaway was to condense a state of emergency where it is needed, where you actually need to put, where the squeaky wheel needs to get the grease, that's where you have to put it. And I said, because I've been talking to people, this debate has been going on a while, and I get a lot of feedback. I don't know, if you go on my social media, you'll see that every thread has hundreds of comments, and people fill up my inbox. And people have been sending their take on the situation. And the biggest and the most surprising thing to me, the most surprising revelation since this conversation became center stage, was how many people who live in what are acknowledged as hotspots are excited for a zone of special operations to be declared where they live so that they could get some security back, so that the gangs that have them under the gun could be suppressed.
Well, I mean, you said it's based on what's needed. And I think, as always, that's kind of up for debate, because when we consider that word hotspot, we could safely say that all of Trinidad is a hotspot, because the reality is the uptick could happen anywhere. In my sleepy village where I spent my formative years, Irene, there would have been incidents on the beach. That was unheard of years ago. So the reality is, this could...
The cancer spreading?
It could rise anywhere. And I'm just trying to figure out, officers would be the ones to enforce this particular policy if it becomes law. If it's passed in the, it's already passed in lower house. And I'm trying to just figure out here the ethos of the TTPS trying to treat with, on one angle, they talk about community policing and engaging the community and, information being the key. But then they'll have to enforce this, and this in itself could create problems where problems do not exist at this point in time, because lots of those same hotspots we speak of, the reality is lots of them very quiet right now. That's just what I'm trying to think of in terms of how would officers...
Because of this emergency.
And even soldiers will now have the powers of a constable, from what I understand, but so?
Well, but not in and of themselves. They're part of what is going on in the area. I listened to Haka Obika, temporary senator for the PNM, talk about Diego Martin, because I used Diego Martin in my contribution. And he spoke about Diego Martin, and he said, if you're working, you can't get to work, and if it was a zone of special operation. And that is ridiculous. It's not like they come in to lock the place off from the world. They come in to lock the place down and secure it. You're going to be driving through, moving checkpoints. You're going to be checked to see if you're armed, that is the role of the law enforcement. I wanted to tell him, my father had a water and juice factory in Diamond Vale Industrial Estate. Factory Road provides employment. A lot of the people who work in the Diamond Vale Industrial Estate live in Factory Road. And after repeated robberies, and he got held up one night with what he said was a big gun in his face, he decided that was it. He moved the factory to Caroni. All of the people who were working there, who lived Factory Road, the 40, 50 people who came in every morning to do the work that's done in the factory, they lost their jobs because they're not traveling to Caroni. There's baseline workers. And that is what happens. If there was something, if there was the ability to provide that kind of security in, because the blanket that we're sleeping under, you just said things calm now. That blanket of security is the state of emergency. That's what it is. We're sleeping under that security right now. And if in communities like Diamond Vale Industrial Estate, where factories have, if you go there now, it's a ghost town. People have closed down and moved to other parts of the country because the crime situation has gotten out of control. Because in my recollection, Diego Martin wasn't a hotspot, but it's now an acknowledged hotspot. And we've let this thing run away for too long. Something has to be done. You're going to belabor the analogy of the chemotherapy. We're at that point, it's cancer.
Well, I recognize you would have used that argument in the Senate last week. What about those, though? And again, I want to take it to, I'm glad you're here so you could really explain to me how, in terms of that issue of being proportional, being fair, being balanced. I'm seeing the PM asking for officers to wear body cams, so I, this morning, would have seconded that particular notion. I think that's
I heard that.
That's an important
no, I heard
element.
You seconded it.
Yes.
I think you're correct.
Yeah, important.
I think she's correct. I think you're correct.
Definitely. And I'm just trying to figure out, because the argument on the ground is that this is targeting PNM constituencies. How do you alleviate the fears of those looking on this morning from those said constituencies to ensure that this, if it rolls out, will be balanced, fair, and proportional?
The Minister of Defense told me the fastest growing hotspot in Trinidad that people are aware of is Toko Sangre Grande, his constituency, because gangs are migrating out of hotspots where they could be targeted and locked down. You see, that is the problem. Restraint of movement, restraint of trade. Gangs want the ability to proliferate and to do what it is they do, and what they do is visit criminality and violence on people. That is the underworld. That is the criminal underbelly of Trinidad and Tobago. And if you lock that down sufficiently and starve them, they will die. Their business will die, and they are moving to other communities that are not as targeted, not as safe where law enforcement is concerned. With zones of special operations, he as a member of the council, they would have information. They would be able to weigh if now is not the time to put a magnifying glass on Toko Sangre Grande to prevent it from taking root and destroying another part of Trinidad. Sangre Grande, other than that, everybody speaks about Sangre Grande from the point of their healthcare is fantastic. You get in your passport in a quick time. Some of the fastest growing communities are in Sangre Grande. So it would be terribly unfortunate if we lost Sangre Grande to crime. The problem is we've allowed it to metastasize, and it is what it is. You said places that surprisingly crime has visited because there's no crime there. This is not the Trinidad that I knew as a little boy. The Trinidad I knew as a little boy was children in the streets. You don't see children playing in the streets. Parents have to be very concerned.
No, that's the Trinidad I also recall growing up in. But again, you know, we consider the state of emergency. It's still very much in effect, will end in a couple of days. You sincerely believe that's the reason why the place is a bit quiet? Because, you see, my concern is that I don't want it to, and I want to use the reference of Minnesota with ICE, even though it's a kind of different scenario. It's almost like with boots on the ground and that kind of interaction is almost like the possibility exists to ignite something. And I'm looking at certain areas that are very quiet right now, and I wonder if boots really go on the ground, if it will cause that very ugly scene where we see confrontations again between officers and residents based on residents in their space and whom feeling that their freedom and rights are being violated. It's a balance, you know, it's a delicate place.
One of the opposition senators brought up the cost of a zone of special operations. This is a time where we don't want to waste any money at all. Zones of special operations will come at a cost. So it's not like, the law is passed, let's start setting up zones. As you say, if communities are quiet, if nothing is going on, if law enforcement could say, hey, this place that was hot before, cool now, people going about their business, the gangs ain't interfering with nobody, you have no reason to put a zone of special operations there. A zone of special operations is a tool for a place and a time that needs it.
If there's an uptick. Understood. And I guess that's what we allow these important conversations to
It gets lost in the wild narrative.
Yeah.
We do that well in Trinidad.
So it is literally a plan where if there is an uptick,
You use the tool.
then use the tool. Okay, understood. Obviously, the debate continues, and we'll see how things pan out. What's the length of the debate? Because I mean, this is one for the record books. I mean, we hours, right?
In the past 7 days, we've spent about 14 days in the Senate chamber. It feels like that, and it's been long, and you know it's grueling because you don't just sit there while any time. So wait, you have to pay attention to everything everybody else is saying. You're taking notes, you're researching. I mean, because we have to be able to answer. That is the purpose of a debate. You have to raise your strongest points. We have to rebut. We have to offer alternative narrative to the public watching because everybody wants their position to carry. Ultimately, our position is this. We believe that the law enforcement need the ability to go after the gangs wherever there is heightened gang activity and the public is at risk. We cannot keep relying on declaring a state of emergency. The last government left office on a state of emergency. This government, because of specific and targeted threats, had to declare a state of emergency, but other benefits came with it, which one of them is you being able to say that some of these places are very cool now, and maybe that's what we want. We want to get things cool for as long as possible. We want Trinidad to feel safe again.
The length of this debate, is it based on amendments or what? Like, how are the...
A lot.
Well,
no. The actual debate itself, because it requires a special majority, everybody wanted to make a contribution. Everybody wanted to have their view heard. Because this is anything that affects constitutional rights or affects the Constitution or requires extensive legal adjustments would require a special majority. When it comes to the Senate, in the House, the House has a special majority on its own. But in the Senate, we have to rely on independent senators voting independently on the issue. So we have to convince each and every one of them as to the benefits of this. They, in turn, going to want to make suggestions, ask questions, and there's a heavy amendment load that this afternoon, we will be dealing with, and each and every one of those clauses has to be debated and voted on, and that's going to take us some time.
So we might still be in for a little while, a little length before we get a final decision.
We hope to close the play today. That's the goal.
Well, again, zones of special operation, the debate continues, and we'll stay on top of all the developments regarding this initiative. I want to move now to garbage collection, and I know that's a big conversation now in terms of the city, areas outside of the city. What's the latest you're hearing in that regard, and especially within the garbage collection structure for all the properties you all manage under the HDC?
Well, when you hear that certain people have benefited from corrupt enrichment and contracts and stuff, the contracts we're talking about are things like grass cutting, garbage collection and stuff that have become quite lucrative. People have become millionaires on garbage collection contracts. And Feroz Khan, the chairman of HEC and the board, one of their mandates is to stem the corruption and to end it. Because the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago have been paying prime rib prices to pick up garbage, and that had to end. So we've ended that. And where contracts have lapsed and new contracts have been given out at a more sensible rate, the people who were enjoying the prime rib before are not letting it go. So they're doing everything in their power to block the garbage men from doing their jobs, the garbage contractors from doing their jobs. Trafford Court in Port of Spain. Guns were pulled on the garbage men. We had to send heavily armed police to accompany the contractor to pick up garbage. That's not a sustainable model. So, but there is a reality to it. So when you hear that certain places have garbage, Maloney, the contractor has been calling for the ability to just pick up the garbage. They've been stopped. Lives been threatened. I have more garbage men in my phone, their names and numbers, now from every community. The garbage men who do Westmoreland and Diego Martin, they've been blocked in certain communities as well. And it benefits those who want a narrative to say that this government not running the country properly. But that is not the case. What is actually going on is a mad fight to try and extort the government back into giving them the contract to pick up the garbage, and this government is not going to give ground there. At some point, they have to move on, because we are going to get the job done by whichever means necessary. This is the government of the day. We have to secure and operate Trinidad and Tobago to the best for everybody in this country, and that is what will happen.
And I'm sure many are surprised this morning because you're putting it on record that you're saying garbage men are literally being intimidated to collect.
Their lives have been threatened. They were told that trucks would be burned. It's a serious, serious thing. And if you are somebody in the business of picking up garbage, that's already a strenuous operation. It's not the best jobs. Yesterday I had to do a video standing in a garbage pit in Las Alturas, and it's not fun. What they do for a living, we really owe our garbage contractors and garbage men and women a big sign of a big gratitude, because without them we'd be living in filth.
So more than likely the security detail you're suggesting here will have to move. What's the way forward? Because what you're saying to me, it's not far-fetched. I myself would have had certain experiences when I ran in 2020 in that regard. So I could say as fact here that what you're saying is not far-fetched. I didn't realize it got to this place now of intimidation. My question is, garbage had to pick up. The place had a
law enforcement on top of it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not just to come here and say a man threatened a garbage man. The garbage man has to make a report. Police have to investigate. People will be charged, arrested and charged, prosecuted. The police have their job to do. The garbage contractors have their job to do, and ultimately the job will get done.
Indeed. Final question I wanted to ask, because I know obviously, and Kola last week would have made mention of it, the fear-mongering that was happening during that regional, the geopolitical tension. And I guess we're still kind of in a gray area. For me, I took the position of trying to really present information and give people a sense of awareness. But we've all seen the operation in Venezuela. Maduro's out, and he's going to be tried there in a court in New York City. after it's all said and done, I guess we could see as clear as day, this really was not ultimately about narco trafficking, because I didn't see any more operations with the boots in the water. I mean, what's your take? As the dust continues to settle from this particular unprecedented development, what's your take? Do your positions still remain the same as it pertains to narco-terrorism in that regard? I
don't think the narco traffickers want to try, because I don't know if you're aware, but the boats have not left. It's not like they've gone. The Caribbean Sea is still now, ironically, a zone of peace. There's no narco trafficking and human trafficking and gun running taking place in the Caribbean now, because we've had peace enforced. With regards to anything else that went on beyond that, as the Prime Minister said, Trinidad's only concern is to protect Trinidad and the greater Caribbean from drug trafficking, narco trafficking, human trafficking coming out of South America. And if that happened, we are happy. Anything else going on geopolitically, that is for the Ministry of CARICOM and Foreign Affairs.
Yeah.
You have to bring short words.
Yes, I understand totally, man. As always, I want to thank you for the effort, for being here. Live.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, brother.
All the best. And of course, we'll stay on top of the zones of special operation debate as it continues there in the upper house. Yes? We get ready. Michael Anisette should join us on the phone line to discuss the 10% for the workers. Yes, it's a cash and non-cash payment package. Anisette will give us all the intimate, or at least some of the intimate details next.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time. Or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise Inn. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center.
Panadol's new formula, 5 times faster than other paracetamol brands. There's no time to waste during special moments. When I need fast pain relief, I choose Panadol Rapid. With its new formula and exclusive technology, it's 5 times faster than other paracetamol, giving me effective pain relief. And it's also gentle on my stomach. Because my greatest gift is giving them special moments.
At CTS College Private Secondary School, we understand that every student learns differently. This is why we provide them with the freedom to choose their ideal workload. With full-time and part-time classes delivered face-to-face and online, and dedicated teachers to help them reach their academic goals. We also provide regular updates to students and parents. Plus, we have affordable rates and flexible payment terms. Enroll today at CTS College.
Welcome, Mr. Anisette. He joins me on the phone line. Michael Anisette, of course, front and center on the Trinidad and Tobago's Guardian. With Trinidad and Tobago's Guardian this morning, front page, and also yesterday via the news. When I saw you, Mr. Anisette, I said, ah, boy, it seems like things are panning out. Obviously, I'm seeing where the 10% is forthcoming. I'm seeing also it's a cash and non-cash payment package. So I look forward to get some details this morning as to what it entails and just generally the sentiment within your heart on all those you represent. Good morning, Mr. Anisat.
Better morning to you. Always divine and ancestral blessings to Trinidad and Tobago. As it relates to the negotiations, this negotiations was specific to the NUGFW daily rated workers, the workers who are represented by the NUGFW. And just let me put the records straight. The negotiations was led by the president of NUGFW, Mr. Street, and I was there in my capacity as the General Secretary of NATO, but more importantly, as a support to NUGFW negotiated team. So I just want to put that on records. And let me first compliment the two parties for the manner in which the negotiations went. I think that it speaks volume, and I'm hoping that collective bargaining can transition into that kind of reality, that kind of maturity, and that kind of collaborative spirit in the interest of both the employer, in this instance, the government, and in the private sector too, so that we could make a better place for Trinidad and Tobago and recognize the role of labor in any system, the fundamental roles that labor play, and also capital, and therefore there's this need to find this balance between the two parties as we move forward to build a better Trinidad and Tobago.
So let me ask, in terms of the payment package, I'm seeing it's going to be a cash and more so non-cash payment. What does the non-cash payment look like?
All right, let me clear that up here, and for the members, all right, because I'm advised that there's a lot of posting in Facebook where workers are making noise about non-cash items, because non-cash items connects in your mind a particular concept. But basically, what is happening is where government has majority shares or 51% shares in any enterprise, the non-cash item can go to those entities. For example, if you are owing national insurance one, but more specifically, if you are owing HDC, that non-cash item concept is that whatever that you are owing, and based on your back pay, all right, because we are looking at about $2.6 billion in our back pay, all right, that can go towards offsetting your arrears that you may have, right, at HGC. And while it may sound non-cash, but in reality, it is a cash, but not cash in your hands directly, but it's cash in your hands indirectly. Because if I'm allowed to pay off my arrears in any government entities, it means that that cash that I would have had to find to pay that arrears is now coming back into my pocket, thereby increasing my purchasing power, which is good for any economy when workers have disposable income. To buy goods and services in any economy, the economy goes. So I want workers to understand what is the concept that we were.
Could you probably give me another example? Because again, I fully catch where you're coming from. The money that would have had to pay a mortgage now is in hand. But let's say someone does not own a house and needs to pay HDC. What's another probably example the non-cash could be applicable?
Well, if you own Board of Inland Revenue, if you owe T&Tech, right, and I can go on, and it's not only specific to HGC, but it's a general principle, and that will apply only to government entities, okay? all right, because the whole general idea, which we appreciated and we understand as the labor movement, and I want to thank you know, the CPO and Mr. Street for having those kinds of conversation in the context. Listen, this is Trinidad and Tobago, right? The government is under some pressure, but the government is willing to meet and treat with the workers and NUGFW and find a mechanism within the context of their ability to pay and come up with a resolution, thereby addressing the workers' issue, but at the same time paying attention, and let me make that point, to the government's ability to pay and the government issues that they will have to find money to make these payments, not only to the NUGFW. You remember that the government is the biggest employer in Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore, from my quick calculation, we are looking at over $12 billion that the government is going to have to find to pay out one. But secondly, the issue of the recurring expenditure, which is your salary increases, right? It is something that you must pay attention to. And it is in that context we were able to sit down and tweak some of the proposals, but understand the economic realities that is facing Trinidad and Tobago and try to find a resolution within that kind of dynamic.
Comrade, I want to ask you, I want to go now to the general atmosphere and the ethos that surrounds the union movement in Trinidad and Tobago. Under the last administration, when PNM, when I remember when they were at the wheels, it almost seemed like the talk of unions becoming irrelevant, and there was this pulling and tugging and a lot of loggerheads, as it were.
Yeah.
We're seeing now some wins under this particular administration. Would you say the relevance of the union movement, its importance, it's back to a kind of optimum level? What's the general mindset right now within the union movement?
All right. Firstly, let me debunk that whole question that the union was not relevant. All right. It was a narrative that was being pushed outside there because there was a lot of practices that didn't fit into the concept of ILO Convention 98, which speaks to the right to organize and collective bargaining. And there was this unwillingness of the past regime to engage with the union in a collaborative and mature and responsible way. It was a top-down kind of situation. And then obviously that doesn't augur well for any economy. But what has happened, we are seeing the reverse. And there's an understanding by this new government that collective bargaining is important. And workers and the trade union have a right to meet and treat in good faith with their employer, in this instance, which is the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And let me add something too, that the government also accepted the fact, this new government, right, that cost of living will be merged into your salaries, so that you will get the merger of your cost of living plus your percentage increase, which does something to add to your percentum increases that is negotiated. And one must always recall that the past regime failed to recognize that fundamental fact, and they said no merger of cost of our living. So you are getting 002 without the merger of any cost of living. And those are realities that we have to speak of. And there's this misconception, because as long as you have labor, as long as you have capital, the issue of finding that balance is through the trade union movement. That is why you have conventions governing the right to organize, the right to collective bargaining, and all the different ILO conventions that you have that governs labor and management behavior. Because the ILO, as you know, is the only UN entity that speaks to the employer and the workers meeting together to come to resolution and solutions and conventions and recommendations for a better industrial relation landscape, because there's this recognition internationally that with all out proper and good industrial relation practices, you cannot have a proper society. If you have a society where workers are treated without dignity and respect, where workers' wages is not living, you're going to have some social cracks within your society, which is not good for your society. So let me debunk this idea that the labor movement was failing. No, that is not a fact. The issue was the past regime, and I will want to repeat it. Behavior was one of our talk down and do as I say. And there was a lot of narrative outside there in the news media, which would have lied to see and which would have print information that suggests that the labor was on the decline. But the power of the working class will always be there, because without labor, as I say, you cannot have a proper run society. Yeah. And labor and capital is a symbolic relationship. One goes with each other.
Well, comrade, as always, sincere thanks. Obviously, you'll keep us posted with any new development.
Just 2 minutes quickly.
Well, we have a minute
again. My comrades on the port, they are beating my head. And there's a lot of other negotiations with statutory boards that are outstanding. And rest assured that we in the National Trade Union Center, we are pushing to have those negotiations completed too.
Fully understand. You know, Mr. Anisette, comrade, I want to thank you. Keep us posted. Any new developments? You always have a safe space, and hopefully next time, well, I know it's all this is happening, a lot of moving parts really fast, so hopefully next time I'll get to see you live on set. Until then, be safe, all the best, comrade.
Okay, I appreciate it, and thanks for the opportunity to clear up some of the misconceptions that is outside, and I say it was a job well done, and I congratulate the CPO and also NUGFW for crafting a meaningful resolution to those outstanding negotiations.
Indeed, and the CPO, as we would have seen in the news, the wage package is cash and non-cash payment, and we were able to get a better understanding as to the structure of the non-cash payment for all those workers. Well done, well deserved, and we'll keep you posted with all the developments here on the Brew. We take the pause, we get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. It's coming up next.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That should big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Sumitomo, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Cold or flu? Take Panadol multi-symptoms. Relief in minutes. 7 cold and flu symptoms. Panadol. Release starts here.
Struggling with blood sugar swings? high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Vibes and Soca Cooler Cruise is back.
Vibe City 105 FM
and Team Undrunkables is bringing you
the ultimate soca party experience on Carnival Wednesday,
February the 11th, aboard the iconic Abba Master. Boarding at 8 p.m. and sailing at 9 p.m. Tickets are just $250 and are available at all cachet outlets, Guardian Media offices, Port of Spain and South Park, and online at islandetickets.com.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Get the best back-to-school specials at Southern Food Baskets. Anchor cheddar and vegetarian cheese, 250 grams, 2 for $44.95. Golden brand margarine, 227 grams, 3 for $19.95. Wings, 1 kg, $29.95. Protect soap, 3-pack, $18.95. Colgate Great Regular Flavor, 4 ounces, 2 for $29.95. Soft and Pretty bathroom tissue, 12-pack for $18.95. Offers available while stocks last.
PRW, the People's Company. Check us for all your computer and electronic needs. Get a laptop, printer, bag combo, only $2,650. Samsung A9 tablet, $1,199. 85-inch Samsung TV, $9,999. Need a printer? We've got it. Get a PS5 console from $5,300. Get an 8-channel security combo for $3,000. Call PRW today.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Make sure you have yourself a great investment week by viewing The Bourse Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Bourse Report. CNC3, covering your world.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I read in Guardian since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
Could the stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job and they're speaking the truth, and they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
But The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian. The Guardian is my first choice.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Jesse Ramdale with headline news here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. We will wait and see what they actually do in the coming months. That was a response from Prime Minister Kamla Persaud-Bissessar when asked about the position taken by the Energy Chamber to address concerns that led to her government withdrawing from this year's energy conference. On Monday, Chairperson of the Energy Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago, Mala Baliraj, called for change, reflection and renewed collaboration following sharp criticism from the Prime Minister. Delivering the opening address, Baliraj acknowledged the recent tensions and said the moment demands a serious reassessment of the Chamber's role and approach, particularly its relationship with the government. She stressed the need to reposition the Energy Chamber as a more collaborative partner, focused on supporting meaningful government engagement rather than operating at odds with national priorities. In other news, government has completed the issuance of a US $1 billion sovereign bond in the United States market, a move the Ministry of Finance says reflects strong investor confidence in the country's credit policy direction. In a media release, the ministry confirmed that the bond issuance was completed on January 22nd and was oversubscribed by approximately 2.5 times. Minister of Finance Devendra Natanku described the transaction as a clear endorsement of the government's economic stewardship. According to the ministry, the transaction represents the largest bond issuance by Trinidad and Tobago in the past 10 years and generated the largest order book in the last 5 years at US $2.4 billion, despite the country facing 2 negative rating outlooks. Even as millions in foreign exchange are spent importing pharmaceuticals, House Speaker Jagdeep Singh is warning that gaps in oversight are creating opportunities for corruption. Singh raised the issue during a parliamentary committee meeting, questioning the lack of coordination between Customs, the Chemistry, Food and Drugs Division and Exim Bank. He expressed outrage that Customs regulates imports at the ports but has no access to a comprehensive list of approved pharmaceuticals.
Has that list ever been published anywhere?
Not to Customs and Excise.
Has the list been published anywhere? I did not ask whether to Customs.
On the ministry website, there is a list of recently registered pharmaceuticals, not the entire list of pharmaceuticals.
Why has the entire list not been published?
Well, those were 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Welcome back. Let me again say congratulations to the committee, the Presentation College, San Fernando, Prestige, their committee, all those who had their hand in such a tremendous affair on Sunday at Skinner Park in San Fernando. Well attended. There was some rain, but I think the rain actually worked out well because it took away all the inhibitions and people basically just said, you know what, whatever, we done what's already. And folks went down to the floor and had themselves a time. You know, we had the likes of Ravi B, you had Voice, Voice really sounding nice for the season, coming in sharp as always. Well done to Voice. Of course, Ravi, great performance as per usual. Kess was world class. And of course, Bunji wrapped up with Fian to bring it home in style. What a great time for all. Prestige, thank you so much for having me. It was a real tremendous experience. First time. I look forward to that fed every year. Let's head now to St. James. We're going to open the lines, give you a chance to get in. St. James, good morning.
AJW.
Welcome, St. James.
Morning, bro. How you going?
All is well. What's the action?
All right, happy to hear that, man. Well, now tuning into the show here. Yesterday episode was really nice and informative to look at for young people and everything. I really just want to give a general feedback to you. I know for a little while now we really working towards reform in society, really becoming law-abiding, all in the interest of just having like a nice, peaceful country, a positive atmosphere. And I really just want to, give my support towards that initiative because really and truly it's for the best interest of all persons now. And, we're now coming into the carnival season here, so I just really wishing a positive, safe carnival for those who really partaking in it. And just a positive Trinidad is my vibe. So keep up the great work. And honestly, Jay, I always give the media, the flowers and the compliments, but media on the whole, in all honesty, I think we probably might just need to take a look at how we describe certain things. Sometimes we might sensationalize things, and that could kind of counteract the messages of those who really asking us to do the right thing. So that's my contribution. But all in all, keep up the great work you all doing and positive vibes, man.
Only best, man. St. James touching base. Shagonas, your life. I think we lost Shagonas. They will try again. Obviously, it starts with family. St. James, of course, the first institution. By extension, the community, school, so many different layers to bring in any society to a place of really being able to tap into their potential. You look at certain countries and their mindset, and I look in here more so at places in the East. We're talking here East side of the world, the Japans of the world and parts of on that side how they conduct themselves. And you recognize, look at a simple thing in Japan, there's no MTS across there. The children are the ones who actually clean up the classroom when they finish. They are the ones that clean up their space and make sure everything in order. And from what I understand, when you actually go to Tokyo and you go to these cities out there, the place and the environment is very clean, and they have been able to put their urban planning in the midst of nature. So it's a different kind of mindset. The way they eat, the diet, it's something that from small, it's a different kind of training and mindset, so that when you become an adult, you're already part of a system and a structure. So it's going to take a real cultural shift for us to get to that kind of place on the West. We have to head to St. James again. St. James, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Welcome, St. James.
Okay. I'm just want to touch a bit upon the energy initiatives by the Ministry of Energy. I am hearing that they expect to have some sort of interaction with the UAE.
Yes.
Okay, and I just would like to remind the minister that I think he should do some serious research on the UAE. Okay, that is very, very, very important. I don't think he has the full picture at all. The UAE, I think he should know, is very, very allied with Israel, their policies. They are the ones who have been behind the supplying of arms to the action in the Sudan civil war, which is responsible for genocides galore. I mean, so that I think they should do some research on the UAE. If it was Saudi Arabia, well, fine. But the UAE, very, 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 very careful with how you involve them in the Trinidad affairs.
All right, St. James. I mean, I thought, St. James took it to I guess, the UAE's foreign policy positions. I actually thought he was going to talk about the fact that lots of them in the UAE, they would have moved away from actually oil and gas and pivot into luxury tourism, which is the major, at least one of the major contributors to their GDP. They would have made that pivot years ago when they realized the oil was getting a bit shaky. Their story is a very interesting one, but I'd have to do a little more research there, St. James, on their foreign policy positions with some of these countries you just mentioned. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. Let's head to, I believe, Treldan. And you're in Central, right? You like what, Couva? Where?
Yes, I'm in Freeport.
Freeport.
I'm from Freeport.
Yes, Treldan Lane is on the line, TNT. Go ahead, Treldan.
Yes, I'm still to appear on your show that I love so much, and I have to say it publicly, I love the Morning Brew. With that being said, over the weekend, I have been at the Savannah, and I have to say the carnival is hot here and very well played. What I like about this noteworthy thing is that the government is giving initiative whereby they're hosting events that our people go be, seeing the climate we're in, the time we are in, and awesome. I saw Nadia Baston, I saw Patricia Roberts, they killed the show. I saw Swappy kill the show. He did a Black Stallion tribute, which was on point. So things are moving progressively as planned. And Justin, you spoke about a note about a mind shift when it comes to culture shift. I mean, from the ground of hearing people speaking, everybody is saying that we need some form of changes because we cannot continue like this forever. We can't. We are going to fail. We're going to collapse. So the very first place to start is to accept our realities to move forward. And the only way we can change is by first accepting we can't stay here. And by us doing that, we can make any improvement. I think our country, we recognize that we need serious changes. For anybody speak, the feedback we're coming in, they recognize. And once that is done, changes can be made. Jason, thank you. I love your love. Lakeisha, I love your team. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, Treadle and Lane there, much love same way. You know, obviously, avid support of the program. I believe we head to Shogunas now. Shogunas, good morning.
Pleasant good day, Jason.
Good morning, Shogunas. Welcome.
Jason, I would like to make a comment in connection with this whole issue with Joshua Samaru, right? With the police, this police killing, the police assassination, the police execution, right? That exactly is what it was. Regardless of what would have ever taken place prior to that down the road, if you say there was an exchange of gunfire, okay. But we're dealing with this now, right? The man crashed into the wall. Clearly, it could be seen that his two hands are in the air, right? And the police blatantly opened fire on him, right? Jason, if this is not addressed and these police officers are not charged, listen to me good, and put before the court and prosecuted, then you, your family, me and my family, and nobody is safe. Understand what I'm saying? Because if the police is a law unto themselves, then what do we have? What do we have to rely on? Understand what I am saying? You see, I will tell you something. The president of the association, Mr. Ishmael Pitt, would have come and spoke a lot of rhetoric, a lot of camouflage and sugarcoat and all kind of thing. But you see, he, from a political standpoint, he's been appointed, right, as the head of the Police Service Association, right, the president. So he has to come and say certain things. It come like when Watson Duke say he go swim from Trinidad to Tobago, right? So they had to make it look good in the eyes of the public, all right? But deep down inside, he and other people know that was foolishness on behalf of the police. And for the commissioner to come out and say now that as for where it presently stands, he sees no reason for anybody at all to be suspended or placed on administrative leave. Commissioner, you're sinking yourself. You're sinking yourself, Commissioner. Don't do that. Don't do that for these trigger-happy cops, right? Jason, all I would like to say is my condolences to the family, and I hope that they get swift justice. Because I will tell you something, Jason. If that is the case, then nobody has a chance then. Take care, Jason. Have a good day.
The only best Shogunas, thanks for touching base, man. You know, I mean, I didn't really talk about it because it's such a sensitive issue, and I know, obviously, I hope there's going to be a thorough investigation because, again, you know, there must be that trust. And as Shogunas rightfully said, it could be that family, you know, a couple of days ago, it could be you next, you know. So I guess it's a really serious and very pivotal moment. And I wait to see what more of the top officials will say on that said issue. And I hope there is a thorough investigation. We have one more. We head to Kuva as we wrap things up with the calls for today, Tuesday. Kuva, good morning.
Jason.
Welcome, Kuva.
Morning, Jason. Morning, Fran Tobago.
Morning.
What upsetting me this morning. It takes 10 years to get 10% when the past previous government offered you all these 4%, 3%. You say no, and these people telling you 1%, 1%, 1%. What the union has brought my country to? What are they doing? They have embarrassment. You have worked and you tell me to stay off the bread thing. I've walked up and down the road and to settle for 10% in that manner. No, man, the union needs to come better than that.
I think I gotta, and I want you to stay with me, Kuva. I want you to stay with me on the line so we could trash it out a little bit. I think what I was getting from Mr. Stanley said, not only this morning, but a couple of times he would have, come on the show, I think it's the way the last administration approached them. They talked down, they kind of buff, they felt, I guess, belittled. So I don't know if part of it was the way the negotiation went. and a different negotiation period, the length of time, honestly, Kuva. That's the impression I got from Anisette. Just the general mood and the language and how, because I mean, union people tough. If it's one thing, they're back strong, but I guess they really didn't like the style of the last administration, honestly, Kuva. Kuva? Is she gone? Oh, I wanted to engage a little bit. So again, you see, I'm not defending anyone here. No, I listen to all sides of the debate, and I try to, again, you listen and you try to make sense of it. And that's something Mr. Anisette has said. He's been constant with that. He's been very consistent about the language and the way it was. But again, listen, I'm not there in the room. I don't know how these negotiations go down. But it seems, based on this particular development, that, well, it's not one to smile often. Again, these union people are serious people. But based on the picture here alone, they seem to be very pleased with the outcome. And I really just wanted, honestly, some clarity on the non-cash payment part of the settlement. And Mr. Anisette gave me some clarity this morning. So I guess I'm a little more informed in that regard. So, as always, we ask you questions. We try to trash out all the major happenings, so many different layers and moving parts in this Twin Island state called Trinidad and Tobago, and we really try our best. We try our very best to stay on top of all what's happening. Next, we're going to get ready for our Digipreneur. Karen Rose joins us out there in Thailand, and we treat with another important talking point, why TNT must create more service-based businesses. Let's elaborate on that after the break.
Of being a man and not jamming on a gal? What is the purpose of going dance and not jamming on a gal? My mother tell me there's nothing.
PRW, the People's Company. Check us for all your computer and electronic needs. Get a laptop, printer, bag combo, only $2,650. Samsung A9 tablet, $1,199. 85-inch Samsung TV, $9,999. Need a printer? We've got it. Get a PS5 console from $5,300. Get an 8-channel security combo for $3,000. Call PRW today.
Stomach discomfort again? Bloating, cramps, irregular bathroom habits? Meet Vivera, your daily support for a balanced gut. Vivera works fast to help reduce the abdominal pain, ease bloating, and support healthy digestion. It helps restore balance to your gut so you can get back to feeling light, comfortable, and in control. Choose for real digestive relief, safe, effective, and trusted for both children and adults. Now available at pharmacies nationwide. Vivera, feel the difference.
We reached over 90 plenty. We're nearing that 100, which is definitely an achievement.
Men probably don't like restrictions.
So it's every day something with me then.
What is my mental and emotional state like?
Champion mentality doesn't mean that you just say it.
Yeah.
You have to live it.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
She cooking, yeah. She have a government name, but I call she good looking. Oh. And she look innocent, but she know what she doing. Oh.
Karen Rose Rose, our digipreneur. He joins us for another important talking point. And as per usual, Karen, thank you so much. I know it's evening time. We're looking to wind down just now, but bright and early here in Port of Spain. Great to see you, man. How was it last week?
It's been good, man. I can't complain. Today, I mean, this week I took it easy, so I really can't complain. It's been a very good week.
You know, before we even get into the talking point, I was talking earlier about culture, mindset, ethos, just the general atmosphere and the difference between the West and the East. You was born in Canada, spent some formative years here in Trinidad. So we understand the West. We live here. But you don't live in the East. Is it a sharp contrast in terms of mindset and just the way people operate and just the general feel?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Like you can literally see it and feel it.
1,000%. 1,000%. The fact that you could just walk outside, and what I've found is that a lot of the Asian countries, they're not as noisy as a lot of the countries that we are accustomed with in the West. So like you don't hear people driving down the streets blasting music. I'm just giving some contrast. It's very peaceful when you walk outside. I did a vlog the other day where I went to a park, and before I went and worked out, I had my vlogging camera, my phone, everything in my bag. I put it down on a bench and I went and worked out for 2 hours in the park, and I came back and my bag and everything was still there. So people in the vlog are just so amazed that that's even something that could happen, because we know in the West, leaving your bag and valuables in a park unattended for hours could never happen.
Wow, crazy. I mean, obviously, I think as we continue with our series, we will bring up more and more examples, because I myself, with the limited time I would have spent on that side of the world, I saw the difference and I felt the difference. And I said plenty of what was being told to me, the narrative that was being said about the East. I said it's garbage, because
you're misinformed.
I say this is propaganda, because there was different. It was different, you know. But we'll stick up in there. We'll get back to that at some point. I want to touch on this most important topic: why TNT must create more service-based businesses. Why, Karen Rose? Why?
Oof. Listen to me, Jason. I mean, this whole entire conversation with you this morning and in previous conversations, we know that the landscape to conduct business is completely changed in Trinidad and Tobago, right? There was this major announcement of NGC going and increasing their prices, and the first people to jump up, or rightfully jump up, is our local manufacturing sector, saying that, you know, with these increases, you're not going to be able to absorb the new costs, and obviously it's going to be passed on, and many of them are not going to be able to operate, or they're going to have to scale down. What it got me thinking about is so much of our economy is based on a time period that we are no longer in. So we know that the bulk of our revenue comes from oil and gas. We're not producing oil and gas the way that we once were. Those revenues have changed. We know much of our manufacturing sector started because energy was cheap. But if energy is no longer cheap and it's going to cost a lot more and they can no longer be competitive, then manufacturing physical goods is going to change as well. And then the other big part is the government is our largest employer. So typically governments are not the ones that, you know, bring fresh money into the country, right? The money just kind of recycles when your government is your largest employer. So when we're thinking about the makeup of our businesses, even our smaller based businesses, they use up a lot of foreign exchange because they import raw materials to then go and make the products, and much of them are not necessarily exporting. It kind of circulates in our economy. We have some real bottlenecks that we have to now navigate. And if we continue going down the types of businesses that we are accustomed or historically doing, it's not going to bring in new money. So the reason I'm saying that we have to start looking at where our pivot needs to be, and service-based businesses are a great way to pivot, is because when you think of our biggest bottleneck, foreign exchange, right now most of our, or if not all of our credit cards are capped at $2,500 or a little bit more if you have a business credit card. That limits what you can do. But service-based businesses today do not need nearly as much capital, if any capital, to even get started. And if we can get more people pivoting towards service-based businesses, this can help us navigate the bottlenecks and challenges that we are facing locally right now.
Give me a workable example in real time. What's a good way? What will make sense based on a service-based business that could start up and be effective in the short term?
So something as simple as you learning to do video editing and graphic design. You can learn these things through just watching YouTube content, and we have enough free tools on the market. A big one is Canva, CapCut. A lot of the features inside of CapCut are free. Something as simple as that, you could now start to create content for businesses or do a lot of content creation on behalf of small businesses or businesses not locally. We're not talking about doing these things locally. You can learn the skill set of content creation, graphic design, video editing, and you can now apply that skill online or do it working for companies outside of the Caribbean. Now, if we have more people that are learning skills like that, and now they're applying for jobs outside of Trinidad and Tobago, they're going to be getting paid in US dollars. And that's a great way to, if we're either you're bringing the USD directly into Trinidad and Tobago, or even if you have an outside account, because we know we can't access foreign exchange as readily as we need to, even if the money is outside of the country, you're still living in Trinidad, so you're still spending your money here and you're still paying your taxes locally here. So there's still some benefit there as well.
So basically, one could learn for themselves. You could go on and really get your journey started. You don't really need I would say, a degree per se. This is something that you can really start from scratch.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad we're having this conversation right now, because one of the most powerful stories happening in the soca industry right now is with Mr. Machel Montano and Paris Coutain. The song that they did together, his entire opening line and the story behind that song is really interesting. The first lines of the song is him talking about he was working at the airport and he realized that this job was no longer for him, and he decided to now put his talents and his creativity leveraging the digital space, and now a year later he is now making a song and touring with Machel Montano. So these opportunities do exist, but again, if we continue to still rely on oil and gas, if we still focus on starting businesses that require you need to have an investment, or at least a sizable investment to start, you need to have US dollars in order to import products. If we are going down those roads, it's not going to help us moving forward. So we need to starting businesses that rely less on imports, but then they also rely less on US dollars. And service-based businesses are a great segue into that.
How do our brothers and sisters in Tobago apply this to their lived reality? Obviously, their major thrust is tourism. How do they now bring a workable plan that's service-based oriented, and sustain themselves in a place where, again, as I mentioned, tourism is the main focus? Let's treat with Tobago on this discussion.
Yeah, so here's the thing too, right? Tourism is booming all over the world. Tourism is one of the most competitive industries in the entire world. So when we see a country like Vietnam made an announcement a couple days ago that for the first time in their history, 2025, they've welcomed over 21 million visitors into the country. Those are the types of numbers that have real sizable impact on a country's economy, right? So we could still have tourism coming in, but again, it relies on people physically getting to us, and we know we do have challenges with even just moving people from Trinidad and going over to Tobago, right? If we focus more on service-based businesses, it reduces our dependence on the things that we are struggling with right now. So if the sea bridge is a problem and bringing people over there, if we can't get the entire world or a huge increase in people coming to the islands for whatever reasons, because there's so many options for people to go and visit now, at least if we start focusing on upskilling our nation and we can provide more service-based businesses. Another big one is cybersecurity right now. The Caribbean region is completely underdeveloped when we're talking about cybersecurity, and we need cybersecurity specialists, but so does the rest of the world. And again, that's a great career that people can start to get into, where those types of services or those types of jobs, those are the ones that we can export and now bringing new capital into the country without having to spend a whole lot of money to go and try to achieve a result.
So I would imagine this, what you're making mention of, will align with what the government is putting forward as their revitalization plan, because I know you would have mentioned, and you didn't really go into detail, that yes, it's good to have all this infrastructural enhancement, this modern looking city and port area, but it must also be paired with upskilling and service-based industries.
It has to, because what jobs are you expecting people to do in brand new buildings? We have brand new government buildings where people are still doing manual tasks, signing paper documents, right? So having new buildings is not going to be the answer moving forward. And again, if we can really start, and I'm stressing on this because I look at myself as an example, being able to learn some of the skills that I've learned, web development, search engine optimization, e-commerce, helping people to sell online, that is what has helped me live in Trinidad and Tobago for the last 10 years, because the majority of the people and companies I worked with were not in Trinidad. That allowed me now to earn USD, bring in that foreign exchange, and I was spending all of that here. But now, because I've learned those skills, my skill set and my earnings, they're not tied to any one economy. And that is what has allowed me now to scale and work with people around the world. If we want to start bringing in new money, if we want to start getting people to not, depend on the government for jobs and, try to get into any government work, because, that's what we tend to do over history, that is what is going to allow us to get away from that.
Should we start this process from an early stage in someone's development? Because again, the reality is it takes a certain level of courage, it takes a certain bravado to step into that field. There are many who, they might think about it, but really the hardest thing to do is to really start something, is to take that jump into the unknown. How do we give our young people the confidence, equip them with the skills to know that, they can pursue their own path and pick up a particular role and function within a service-based economy and business?
Yeah, so I think it starts with the fact that 2026 is going to be a year where we don't have a choice. We don't have any more runway to have oil and gas and subsidies prop our things up. I think this is the first year in God knows however long that everybody has to start thinking very differently. And I think if everybody has to start thinking differently, then there's going to be more conversations about what can we do from a digital perspective when it comes to jobs, when it comes to getting clients, being a subcontractor. So those conversations are going to be more fruitful moving forward. And I think the kids are going to start to at least hear more adults talking about it. Also, you don't have to go to school to learn a lot of these skill sets. Even just getting our kids, asking them, what are you interested in? Finding courses that are online that they can do outside of school hours, these things are going to help. And then encouraging students and encouraging our kids to be creative. They are people. Listen to me. Being here in Thailand, you see some things, right? The other day I was in the mall and I was watching a tournament that was paying out $50,000 US for the winner. And that tournament was on Pokemon card battling. They're battling Pokemon cards, and the winning prize is $50,000 US. These are things that can be turned into careers. So even when your kid says, "Hey, Mom, I want to be a gamer," don't discourage them, because guess what? I can call gamers in Trinidad that have earned over 10,000 TT a month just by streaming and gaming. So these careers do happen. As a parent, I think now we have to ask them, what exactly are you into? And then we need to start doing our own research to try to at least help them navigate so that they can get into the right career choices moving forward.
Karen Rose, I think you would have, strike. I mean, you were able to strike a real amazing chord this morning, and I'm sure many parents, grandparents looking on, even the youngsters looking on, definitely feeling that particular pivot. And we'll get chance as we continue with our conversations in the weeks ahead to expand on it. All the best, Karen. Thanks for touching base. Have a safe one.
Yeah, thank you. And Jason, what I will do is when I'm done, I will send you a screenshot of somebody right in Trinidad who has earned over 10,000 TT from gaming. And I'll send you that screenshot so you can see it for yourself.
Looking forward. All the best, Karen Rose.
Take care.
Take care. Godspeed. We get a chance again to touch base with Karen next week. Up next, conversations on cancer. Of course, the importance of the HPV vaccine in the fight against cervical cancer, and I would imagine we'll get some more major talking points.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
When there's a high tide, it sweeps everything along with it.
Your brother is a good man, son. Give him a chance.
I'm going to kill him.
He'll come back to me. I'm sure of it. Uh-huh. Meanwhile, my marriage is failing.
The only thing you've done in your life was to choose her. I pronounce you legally married husband and wife.
Love turns deadly, and secrets refuse to stay buried. Telenovelas are back on CNC3 with the explosive drama Cabo, premiering this Sunday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
What, boy? The game showing clean, dog.
Hey, it's fast internet and best entertainment I paying for, you know.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, my good, eh? Hey, the call not sticking. So why you taking so long to reply to your messages?
Hey, I getting Wi-Fi quite out here.
Yeah, boy, that's Amplia. But what are you doing outside? Come inside and lime now.
I come in there.
Wi-Fi so fast, you'll be saying,
hey, it's Amplia.
This week, the Review Tent continues with Ladies' Night, Thursday, January 29th. 2 persons on 1 ticket. Admission $350. Friday, January 30th, it's Judges' Night. Admission $200. And Saturday, January 31st, it's the Calypso Review Tent stars on full display. With Sugar Aloes along with the Review stars. Pink Panther, Skatey, Devon Steele, Singing Sonia, Michelle Henry, Mighty Diamond, Saint Nick, Nicole Grace, Mace, JD, Fire Tender, Sasha and Moses, Tempo, Kurt Allen, Nisa, Alana Sinette, Lackerman, Organizer, Orlando Octave, from Barbados, Mighty Gabby, your MCs, Marcus Batiste, Tommy Joseph, and the Chairman. Tickets at the Review 10 box office, SWWTU Hall. This is your opportunity to experience the Calypso Review tent. For info, call 797-5850. Calypso Review. This is what Calypso is all about.
So happy to have Dr. Sandra Boxell here with me as we get into our conversations on cancer. A very important one, the HPV vaccine. And I guess it's all part, Doc, of the Cervical Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
Yes, just a few more days as we continue with this most important conversation. Great to see you. Happy New Year and welcome.
Thank you. Same to you.
The importance of this vaccine, because, you know, there are still people, when they hear vaccine, they get nervous. Walk me through it. I know I've heard that boys and girls.
Correct.
Right? What's the age we're looking at where this vaccine comes into play?
Well, essentially, it's available in Trinidad, and it's been here since 2013. It's been on the market since 2006, so it's not a new vaccine. So we're looking at 20 years of experience with the vaccine, both boys and girls. The ideal age, or what the ministry is covering, is between the age of 9 and 26. So you can actually get it through the local health centers for free between 9 and 26. Ideally, when it was initially, put out to the market, it was really for age groups 11 to 14, because we were trying to get young people before their sexual debut, which is what, before they become active, so they get the maximum amount of protection. However, it's been shown to be effective even up to 26, and I do have patients who are over 26 and are still getting the vaccine.
What's in the vaccine, and what's it's, I guess, as I said, it's before youngsters make their sexual debut, step up into the world of intimacy. I've never heard that before.
That's the word. That's what it's called.
I mean,
well, it's true though.
we have, I guess the local term, they say, I won't use that word, but nonetheless. What's in it per se, and are there any side effects?
Okay, so it's the capsule of the virus. It's not a live virus, so you cannot get sick from getting the vaccine. And as a result, when the body is exposed to the outside wall of the virus, essentially generates what we call antibodies, and the antibodies stay in the system forever because it's a lifetime vaccine. And as a result, when the child or the adult becomes exposed to the HPV vaccine in the real world, then they would have already seen it. So because the body's already seen it, it knows how to manage it and defend itself against the virus, and therefore they're at lower risk of multiple diseases, actually. And in terms of side effects, they're very, very few. The biggest one would probably be like a rash or an infection site reaction that usually happens within a week or 2 weeks of the injection. And then some people will get syncope, which means like dizziness and lightheadedness, and that happens probably within the day of getting the vaccine. But if you think about it, both of those things happen commonly with almost any vaccine or shots that you get. Those are the same kind of side effects that you're going to get.
I wonder, especially for the extremely the youngsters who go for the vaccine, or at least the parents who will allow their children to go, that takes a certain level of maturity, I would imagine. Because,
absolutely.
It's very taboo. Some parents don't even bring up that kind of discussion, as it were, with their children. What's your recommendation as it pertains to the young people looking on? Is this one that you could pursue on your own? You have to be at a particular age to go in and get this on your own?
Yes, it's vaccination, and once you're underage, you will have to get permission from the parent. The point of this whole, I would say, awareness campaign is to try to give the information, make it clear, make it consistent, make everybody aware that the vaccine is absolutely safe, and that the impact that it can have on your child and their future is significant. In terms of what you had mentioned before, yes, it's for boys and for girls. And why it had, like, people ask, why does it have to be for boys? If cervical cancer is only for women, why are we vaccinating men? The reality is that it's not only cervical cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, causes multiple cancers. So it's cervical, vaginal, anal, throat, oropharyngeal. It also, HPV also causes warts. So what people see on their hands and feet, that's warts, or you can even get genital warts as well. All of this is caused by HPV. And they say somewhere upwards of 80% of humans, of people, have been exposed to HPV at some point in their life.
So how does one, I guess, is really medical professionals like yourself will be able to determine the difference between this particular, the symptoms from HPV, as opposed to, let's say, STD? Correct.
But you'd have to, and that's the problem, because if you get exposed to HPV, there's a decent chance you're not going to get any symptoms, like right away. And that's how come we end up diagnosing, let's say, cervical cancer at stage 3 and 4, because by the time you start to get the symptoms, you're too far in the game. Now, with genital warts, you will see, like, things growing, and that becomes obvious, but it takes years and sometimes months to even get to that stage. The thing with the vaccine, though, is when we vaccinate the young people, in the early stages, let's say teens, this protects them for life. And I mean, most of us think about, okay, we don't want our children to be sexually active, or they have this wrong thought that children need permission to have sex. Back in the day, no child got permission to have sex. And now, worse, with social media, nobody's asking for permission to have sex. This is not going to make a child start to. But the reality is, we all want grandchildren, right? And we want our legacy to live on. But at some point in time, they're going to become active. And this is not to protect them now, this is to protect them future. And if you get exposed to HPV in particular, it takes about 10 years from the infection to the actual disease process. And so there's multiple entities or multiple parts of preventing cervical cancer, which is what the month is about. So it's a vaccination, it's the screening with the pap smears, and then it's early treatment if it is that it shows up.
And you know, I've always heard, and I think other medical professionals on the program also established that if indeed one goes into the race a little too brisk and you start off with multiple partners and you continue on that particular trend for a while, the chances are even higher if you're very promiscuous, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. But if you think about it, the more exposures you have, the more likely you would have been exposed to somebody who had it. And then, or you would have gotten exposed to it multiple times.
Even if you're protecting the sex?
Yeah, because HPV is skin-to-skin contact. So it's not just, remember, like a condom, which I push condoms very hard. But even if it is that you're using, let's say, like condoms, there's still skin-to-skin contact. And as a result, you can get HPV on the other parts of the genitalia. And, you know, people are not necessarily just doing traditional intercourse. They're doing it in other places as well. So you can get it in those locations as well. And if you get the vaccine, it protects you kind of for all of the locations.
You know, this is a very important conversation. You know, no, it is. And I think it's one that we need to definitely continue, even beyond the end of this awareness month. I implore you to, once you have some time, let's continue with the conversation.
Oh, I would love to.
Yes, and of course, all the best as always, Dr. Sandra Boxell, touching base and giving us that reminder of the importance of not only information awareness, but the HPV vaccine. You can do your own research, you know, do your own research and find out some more.
There's a lot of information out there.
Yeah, Doc, all the best.
Okay.
Up next, Kes Defantala. He joins us to treat with ISWI, Carnival 2026, and beyond. Kes is in the building next.
When the rhythm pumping up, it's everybody jumping up. We sweating, we sweating. And when the sun is blazing, it's party.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have the
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hi, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
You're playing ting. Remember long time when adults leaving children home to go fetch was normal? So many things could have gone wrong, and there's nothing normal about that. For Carnival 2026, our children's safety comes first. Choose to get a responsible adult or babysitter, and if you can't, stay home. Stop playing ting. This is a safety ting. I'm your girl Nandi, and remember, better choices, safer Carnival.
This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
I don't believe in love at first sight. Oh, you see, last week Friday night, meet a girl down in this place.
We as a people have a natural rhythm within us. Something so powerful that it could change the world forever. We are the guardians of this energy, this life force. The way we dance, the way we laugh, the way we shake a glass. The way we take the pressures of the world and make music and art with it. What does home sound like? What does home taste like? We exist in a river of rhythm, bathe in it every day. It's time for us to come home, back to we roots. It's we roots. It's we rhythm. It's we.
Well, needless to say, this is definitely one of the highlights of Carnival 2026. And every Carnival, when Kes puts on his, not only a show, I would say it's a production. And I'm always happy to be part of it. And he's here with me to touch base. If it's once a year, we guarantee to get Kes.
That's it.
It's right around this time.
Correct.
Before the show. And sometimes a little sprinkle in between too, bro. Happy Carnival.
Yeah, man.
I don't say I call Kes now Tiger. Tiger Kes, you know?
Tiger.
Yeah, man. What do you mean? Always landing your feet, bro.
Always.
Anything like that ever happened to you before? Because
Many times. I mean, I slip and fall plenty. I am actually pretty clumsy.
I thought that was your first, you know.
No, my band actually sometimes are extremely worried for me. They don't understand how I'm alive. Still.
Wow, that was at St. Mary's.
Yeah, in CIC.
Yeah. And then of course we saw you at Prez on Sunday. I mean, I guess it probably is, before we get into your show for the 10th, it's probably really a joy to go back and represent for the schools you would have attended. Of course, you did is at CIC, but you did that one with the Form 5 scenario in Prez.
In Prez, very formative years, you know, and I can't help but just go back in time when I go to not just Prez and San Fernando in general. I see all the little places where I have little memories. I get my first banca, you know, little things, you know. So it's sort of full circle moments every time I perform down there.
And in terms of the show itself, the production, the pageantry that is the Izwi Festival. How intimately involved are you? I know, obviously, Hans and Gerard, and you have a lot of people who are hands-on with it, but is it very intentional, certain things that transpire? Is it a vision you seek as that you want to play out in your mind? Walk me through the theatrics, the theater of what we experience.
Yeah. It is an extension of a vision, you know, and a collective vision at that. And for me to, you know, from traveling the world and also just exploring the music over the years, I really wanted to create a place where we could experience a festival, you know, rather than just a fete or even a concert. It's more of an experience where, or even excluding the show itself, you could have an experience for yourself. You know, there are two stages. There's a band stage and the main stage, just like festivals are. There's the village where, you know, it's food and artisans, and there's obviously the garden and the courtyard. The garden is the VIP section, and you're just going to get experience, an immersive experience as a patron when you get into there. It's really a snapshot of our culture together as one. We curate the vendors, we create the artists, we curate all of it. I mean, and I really have to, the creative side has to come from me. It really has to come from the artists. So yes. I kind of am a part of each thing.
So you are involved?
I'm involved in any ways that I can. My team is an amazing team, so they try to take things off of my plate, but I always end up sticking my hand in it.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is I know you're so focused on the music, and you're really tremendous in that regard, and I've always wondered how much of the theater and what happens with the production. So I'm happy to know that.
Yes.
In the limited time we have remaining, what's happening prior to the concert and on the day itself? You know, just lay out some of the details. Can I mean, you do the pump before?
Yes, so we have a little pump before, of course. We're going to be touching Eastgate, so you'll get those details of the date.
Nice.
We also come down San Fernando and touch South and give people a vibe down there and just a taste of what's to come. And of course, it's just real preparation for the show. You know, this is intense. You know, Carnival is an intense time, so for everybody to come and pull this together, trust is almost a miracle. So I can't wait because, you know, we present the show. As I said, it's not just a fete, it's not just a concert, it's an experience. So I try to curate my set in a way that really gives people a snapshot of who we are.
Because I mean, I know that probably is a challenge to up the ante every year from the moment the experience into the O2 Park. We went down to Lara Stadium one year and Oval, we had it in the Oval also, yes. And of course it seems like the home for it now is the Queen's Park Savannah. How does one top what already is a tremendous production when people even recall last year's show?
Definitely, you have to just keep on chipping away at the different things you wanted to improve in from the year before, you know. And for me, it's really about just getting it more efficient, getting the idea clearer. And, you know, those things would be worked out afterwards, you know. After, you know, you have a show, you will have your recollection and, okay, cool, this is what we could do or this is what we can try. So we're always tweaking, we're always making it better, trying to make the experience a lot more better.
Where does one go for all the information, ticket information, and just all the intimate details for ISWE?
Right, well, you know, ISWEfestival.com, you can check that out for sure. Don't ask me for tickets because I know nothing. But you can go to Häagen-Dazs, all Häagen-Dazs, all Bagalitos, all Popeyes. Big up to you all. Thank you for the support. And yeah, right across the nation, physical tickets and tickets online as well at iswefestival.com.
As we wrap things up, Cass, what outside of your productions for 2026, what else you're feeling?
We have some sweet music this year, you know. Of course, Respectfully Yours.
Yes.
I love the young ones coming up. Dudu Darling by Crystal. Big up, brother. I know you're working very hard at that. Kutin, Wedding Band. Obviously, the Garland on Fire. You know, we have a lot of great music. I'm always fascinated at the fact that we always bring some really amazing contributions to the soca scene as Trinbagonians, you know what I mean? We really and truly represent for the art form.
Probably the only genre one needs to press restart every 9 months.
Every 9 months we have we have to make a song that could change your life. So not easy, but congratulations to everybody. The music sounds sweet, and I'm looking forward to celebrating it because we'll be celebrating, of course, Kesty Band, but all our brothers and sisters in the game, you know.
Loving the rum and Coca-Cola, the video, the visuals for it, and of course the Benja. Next time we talk, I want to get some details concerning that collaboration because I found that to be very unique.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, your carnival friend is here till the very end. Cass, touching base as we look to wrap things up on this Tuesday. See you at ISWE, the festival. It's all about its roots and rhythm. Carnival. I would say the Tuesday before Carnival Tuesday, the 10th. Let's have a great one, TNT. Be safe. God's spare. I'm back for more tomorrow. All the best.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.